Hey, this is Derica, your host on the Happiness Recipe Show 2.0, where top experts are sharing their personal stories of breaking through their own fears and resistance and into living their happy life and how you can do the same. Oh, you guys, I am very, very excited to welcome back to the show the very one and only Joanne Callahan. Thank you and welcome back.
Hi, Derica. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be back because I think I do have a very interesting story that probably resonates with many, many people out there. I've experienced many of the same things they're all experiencing or have experienced.
Oh, yes. And this is why you are back, you guys. Like, she's back. There's so much information that's going to be just channeled through here exactly for what we're all needing and ready to hear. So I always say blue pen, white paper, get it ready because you don't want to miss this. Of course, you can replay, but it's so good to have that pen handy now. For those of you who have not met Joanne, I am going to go into her beautiful bio, and then that's when we'll dive right into those juicy questions. Okay? So Joanne is the co-developer of Thought-Filled Therapy with her late husband, Roger Callahan, and is the president CEO of Callahan Techniques. Joanne Callahan is a graduate of the University of California, Santa Barbara, and received her MBA in Healthcare Administration from California State University of San Marcos. Joanne Callahan also is director of the Thought-Filled Therapy Training Center. She is trained in TFT, that's Thought-Filled Therapy, at the advanced and voice technology levels. Joanne Callahan co-authored Thought-Filled Therapy and Trauma, Treatment and Theory, and the recently revised Stop the Nightmares of Trauma. Ooh, that one I'm very interested in, Joanne. Very interested. Okay. You guys, I get so excited about her information. Okay, Thought-Filled Therapy, the next book, Aiding the Bereavement Process in Death and Trauma, the Traumatology of Grieving. You guys, if that resonates with you at all, please do look up these books. They're phenomenal. They'll be extremely helpful. Thought-Filled Therapy, or TFT for short, as we just mentioned, uses a tapping sequence in the form of a healing code, balancing the body's energy system and allowing you to eliminate most negative emotions within minutes. Seriously. And promote the body's own healing ability. TFT tapping is highly effective, non-invasive, healthy self-help alternative to long-term or drug-related psychotherapy. Here's just some things TFT is used for, you guys. This is just the top of it, but it's so good I have to name it. So TFT is used for, which I have used for all myself, trauma relief, elimination of fears, anxiety, and stress, successful weight loss or smoking cessation. I have not used that one, but I know people who have. Ease of depression without medication, leading emotional freedom technique, providing you with a path of success. Woo! That is the gist of TFT. Again, thank you, Joanne. All right, hon, so let's jump right in. It's so good. Let's jump right in. And can you tell us your story of what led you into what it is of all that I just read today, everything that you're doing?
The first half of my life, I'm 70 now, so I've been here a long time, but the first half of my life was probably very much like everybody else's. My parents got a divorce. My mother married a child molester. You know, I had those things, and I had a very wise choice. I bought a nightclub with partners, and I wound up in bankruptcy over that because they were crooked. And I've done some of everything. I was a biologist from the University of California out on the Channel Islands. I was a real estate agent and exchanger. I've done some of everything. And by the time I met Roger, okay, he had just developed the voice technology in TFT. And I was able to use that for all these past things, like bankruptcy. That's not a fun thing. child molestation. That's not a fun thing. So it's all the same things that many people are experiencing. And so I was able to become very balanced and heal very quickly. And how I got into TFT was I married him.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. And I began, at that point, he was a private practice psychologist, and I helped develop the training program. I saw the huge application for it, and I helped develop our first training programs in 1993. Actually, our first training was given in 1994. And I have carried that on since his passing 7 years ago now. And I feel very blessed to share, to help continue developing this with him and to share it around the world. And literally around the world, we have worked with most any culture and countries, languages, and just to give you a little idea, one of our Native American chiefs was being helped by one of our practitioners who was a fireman, volunteer work, and the chief said to him, the reason they liked TFT was they could wrap it in the blanket of their culture. So anybody can use it. It doesn't go against anybody's religion, their culture, their values. They can wrap it within that. And that makes it a very useful tool.
Yes, that is so beautiful. I admire and just honor and hold space for how you started this out with allowing us in back to childhood, because that's deep things. Just witnessing a divorce of your parents and then having to go through molestation as a child and what that life could have been like. Gosh, there's so much. You went to bankruptcy, all the little the things you got
Yeah,
into and done. I mean, that was
there's
like,
all the things that everybody's going through. And
yeah.
now, I don't know if everybody knows, but there's a lot of new research on what they call the ACEs, and they call that adverse childhood experiences. And that predicts what's happening in your life, what kind of
Yeah.
chronic diseases you're going to get, what is your level or your risk of mortality. Well, I had those, and I actually in 2001 got stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I did no chemo, no radiation, and we were able to heal that and fine tune our toxin protocols on me in '01. And I've never had a recurrence. I've been cancer free since March of '03.
Oh my God.
So I'm a what do you call it, a perfect case example of the
Yes.
kinds of things that you experience in life and how you can use these tools to, and one of the biggest things that they do is improve your quality of life. If people are suffering from fear, from PTSD, flashbacks,
Yep.
anxiety, their quality of life is dramatically decreased. And
Yes.
this is one of the things that, and that quality of life is what helps us be happy. It's our happiness ratio or quotient. Quote. What's the word? Quote. I can't think of it.
It's okay. It's what it is.
It is. It's what allows us to be happy within our current state. Is if
Yeah.
we can have a good quality of life, and I don't mean just materialistically. I mean emotionally.
Yeah. And when I know we're all nodding here because we are affected by what has happened to us as a child. I love you said ACE, and so a lot of us know that that was our foundation, right? Where during conception, even in the in the womb, and as a baby and toddler and all this up until there's a certain age, I hear that we start to have discernment. I think it's 8 years old, but even at that point, we're going through life, and we all can relate to some sort of traumas and things that we're experiencing at that time, at that age, and then we go through life and have more. But all of that stuff is giving the decreasing our quality of life. It's us being triggered on a daily basis of what happened to us back then,
Right.
right? That's stealing our happiness. So I think at this point, you know, those of you, all of those who have not heard of TFT are like, what is this? Like, how does this work? Because we've saw divorce, we've gone through divorce. I know there a lot of us have suffered from child molestation or some form of child abuse, you know, have all gone through these traumas, and it's like, how do we tap that out of our system? Or what does that look like? Can we just start in somewhere right there, whatever's being called to you to talk about how this actually works?
How it works, we're actually now using the meridian system, the chakra system, and the Dantian system. We're balancing that energy. We're removing the blocks to healing. And the body is an amazing, resilient instrument. And if we can remove the blocks, it does a tremendous amount of healing on its own. And the key that Roger developed at the very beginning was what he called the diagnostic process, or causal diagnosis. And what he meant by causal, it's not a nosological system like in psychotherapy. You label, you have schizophrenia, you have bipolar, you have depression, it's right. Not that. It's identifying what energy system is out or blocked and in what order to address it. And that was what allowed him to cure phobias just like that. Things that at that time they said you couldn't cure. It also allowed him to develop the treatment for trauma. And this we've tested and proven over many years all around the world. And it was actually listed as evidence-based. You know, it's a healing technique that can be safely self-applied, okay? Which makes it different than most of the therapies out there. There's a lot of good healing modalities, but TFT is one that can be safely self-applied and still achieve phenomenal healing results. The trauma one was developed early on because when Roger started, he was dealing with the negative emotions, irrational emotions, like a phobia. A trauma has negative emotions, but very justified. And so what we found as he used TFT, he found a specific sequence that worked most of the time. And the other key in trauma is always forgiveness. This is one of the most important pieces of it. Forgiveness of not only others, but of yourself.
Yeah.
And the trauma sequence is actually in this video training program I'm sharing with everybody later, contains not only the treatment for trauma, which is here, 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 and here. I can describe in more detail if you want later.
Okay.
It includes then a minor sequence for anger and guilt. And within those, if you use those, that you can focus on the forgiveness. And a tremendous amount of healing can be done with forgiveness.
Yeah.
I remember when I first had to do this, and I had to forgive the person that molested me. It's a very hard thing. And you can't imagine the amount of freedom and release you have when you reach that point.
Yes. You guys, and I'm just feeling the audience and even myself and own personal experiences, thinking about, okay, you guys, so we have, just to kind of recap full circle, we have these blocks in our body from past experiences. And these blocks are constantly being triggered if they still lie within our body. That takes away our happiness. So the whole point and why this is such an integral, powerful piece of our happiness is being able to tap this and use this technique to release these traumas and blocks from our body so we can live that happy life that we truly want and deserve to live. So some of these things we're talking about are big events that happen to us, right? Molestation, you could have even been like told, you know, you were stupid or hit, you know, anything like that, right? You witnessed something. I witnessed a murder when I was 17 years old. You know, there's a lot of things that we go through in our life, and up here, consciously, sometimes we don't think we're suppressing it or holding on to it, but subconsciously we are. Within our bodies, we are still holding that data. So,
And the ACEs now, proven research show not only does it affect us emotionally now, it will increase our risk of mortality and make us 400% more prone to certain diseases like diabetes or obesity or heart disease.
Wow. Yes. You guys, this is proven. This is evidence-based. This is science we're talking about. Holding on to these blocks in our body, these past traumas in our body, however, whatever flavor we call it, is not just affecting us emotionally on a daily basis, but now physically. It is the root cause of these diseases, dis-ease in our body, these other symptoms that we're manifesting. This is why this episode is probably one of the most important ones that I would say please rewatch over and over and have your pen handy, because this is across the board, all of us can relate and take advantage of this.
Another reason why this is so very important is because when we watch, just like you said, you witnessed a murder, that's trauma for you. Children cannot differentiate between what's possible for them and what's they're watching on the news.
Right.
So there are mirror neurons now that they've identified about 10, 15 years ago that say our body reacts just by watching something, just as if it happened to us. So every day, the news is traumatizing our children, ourselves, and this is one of the reasons why we're seeing such an increase in mental health problems. So if families had a simple tool that they could do in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes daily, releasing those traumas as they happen, then they're not building up, storing in their body, and increasing their risk for chronic disease.
Yes. How powerful is that, you guys? We think of, you know, it's not too late. I thought when you started talking, Joanne, I thought, oh my goodness, I used to just sit in the telly, like in front of the telly my whole life. Like that's where mom put me, you know? But it's good to have these right now at our fingertips, because no matter our age, no matter where we're at, we can begin utilizing this and releasing them from our being, our system now. Oh, that's so good.
One of the best ways, in the video I'm giving, it leads them right through it. One of the best ways to use it for somebody that's suffered a lot of traumas is when they're triggered. Because when you're triggered, all of a sudden have a little bit of a reaction to something, that's the perfect time to do it, because your body will go right to the underlying cause or trauma in your past that created that, and you can heal it like that. So it's a wonderful tool to not only use for daily things, but for whenever you get triggered or upset by something, by a family member or whatever.
Yeah. I'm thinking, so I have 4 little kids, and in the last episode I talked about how my 2-year-old would have a 2-year-old tantrum, is what they call it, and my husband is very much into tapping, a little more knowledgeable than I am anyhow, but he's given me a sequence and he uses a sequence, so we'll just tap, you know, on our 2-year-old when he's going like in the moment of having a tantrum, and you'll see within seconds he just like comes back to a center, as you just said. Another thing is what I've been practicing a lot lately is my 8-year-old, really sensitive to energies, really low vibrational energies. So if someone says like the word dying, or he sees a creepy looking spider, things like this, right before bed, he'll actually come into our room and ask for tapping and ask for other I do hypnosis, so he'll ask for hypnosis or tapping at 8 years old, and literally my husband he'll be right there by the bed and he'll do a couple tapping points on him and he'll go right to sleep. And it's just this so beautiful thing. He knows, like, okay, I have this scary thought and I'm feeling it and I want it out of my body. And that's 8 years old, you guys.
Exactly. And have you any idea the difference you're making in his life by releasing those fears that child will have so much less suffering in his life because of that, and your awareness and your husband's awareness.
Yeah. And it's because we experience those as adults. We're having later in life we were realizing like you got with Roger and you're like, "Oh, I've been through some stuff." Right? There's a lot of stuff coming out, and yeah, it's okay we're doing it older, but if we could start now with our children, at any point where we could start is so beautiful just to begin that healing work.
Yeah, it
Wow.
really is. And for many, many people, it is life changing.
Yes.
We've seen this time and time again.
Yes, this is so good. Can we so if you can think about just maybe one or two of the bigger fears or resistance you had in your life that kept you from your quality of life, kept you from being happy. Can you tell us what those were? And then maybe kind of go into how you were able to break through the barriers of that.
Well, okay. Two. One would be not comfortable with men, okay,
Mm.
because of that. And this is something we don't realize too. That man wore a certain cologne. And you would walk in a room, and if a guy or a man came over to you with that cologne on, you just went, like
Ooh,
that. So
yes.
there were things like that. And one of the first things Roger discovered and developed was uh, about amorophobia. He coined the word amorophobia. And when you've been hurt in a previous relationship or in something like that, you have a fear and avoidance of um, becoming vulnerable and intimate with somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are big things because they're a very big hindrance to having a positive,
Mm-hmm.
long-lasting relationship.
Yep.
So, and I can truly say that I have totally forgiven the person. I can walk in the room with anybody with that kind of cologne, and I had a very loving, long, happy relationship. So I was able to heal that, and it was amazing.
Wow.
Another thing was when you have a bankruptcy, you lose a little bit of self-confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
You have a lot of self-blame. Why you look back on it, hindsight is everything, but why you would want a nightclub in the first place is
Yeah.
crazy. And then, of course, partners in that industry are probably less than desirable too. So,
Mm.
and when you do that and you lose a large amount of money, you feel a lot of self-blame. And self-blame also does not facilitate happiness.
Yeah.
It ruins your self-esteem. You become fearful of doing something else, of taking a risk again.
Oh, yeah.
And so all of those things. Now, I've done many things in my life, and I can truly say I have no fear currently and haven't in a long time. And when Roger passed away, I picked up and moved across the country, my business and everything, and built a house at a meditation ashram facility so I could incorporate meditation into it. Then 2 years ago, I picked up and moved everything to Costa Rica. So I don't have fear now of taking risks. And that's made a huge difference in my ability to be happy, to be confident in what I can do and what I can do for others. Because if you have fear, others perceive it. And so when you're helping people, if you can come from a place of just love, not fear, you have a much easier way to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful because it isn't, yes, we're healing for ourselves, but it's healing our life and our relationships and, how we're interacting in our life and living. So it's good to add that piece in because it's selfish but selfless at the same
Yes,
time because
exactly.
everyone benefits, right?
Another place that is a lot of people probably can relate to is when I got my diagnosis of stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
Okay, it was stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the There is no treatment for it, really. I refuse chemo and radiation. All that's supposed to do is extend your life. And had I approached that and our healing with fear, I'm not sure that I would have been able to heal. So the ability to eliminate the trauma of that diagnosis and all the fear around it, I'm sure is a big part of my healing.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many of us right now that we lack confidence. You know, we lack self-worth. We've been through, maybe we've been cheated on, we've been lied to, we gone through bankruptcy and divorces and all this stuff, like, right? Or we've seen our parents do it. And so all of that, know that, you guys, I mean, I know that might sound so magical right now, like, what? Like, I can literally heal myself, get it out of my body and move on and actually be comfortable in my skin and be comfortable taking leaps of faith. Yes. Yes, you can. Oh, that's so good. And you guys, we're never done. I feel like we keep healing and healing, and then we'll realize, oh, there's something else in there. There's something. Okay, that's okay.
Because that's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything every day is bringing some new challenge, some new opportunity to us. It's life.
Yeah. And to have a tool this powerful in your pocket where, you can pull that out, whether it's happening in a line in a grocery store and someone gives you a stinky look or something and that triggers it, certainly with all the mask and isolation, all this stuff going on. It's like there's a lot of fear and attitude, just from the fear that's emanate from everyone. It's kind of, you'll see friction between people everywhere because are you too close to them? Are you too far? There's this whole different paradigm that's happening right now. But to know you can just begin tapping in certain places and release the triggers, release the anger, the fear, the sadness, whatever we're going through in that moment. I mean, how amazing is that?
Exactly.
Right? Okay, I could talk forever because so many ideas are coming to my brain. But I'm sure you guys, you're feeling it too. So as you're thinking about going through your day, what is triggering you? What's coming up for you? Make a note of that. What traumas have you experienced in life? Because Joanne, what you are giving away today is absolutely phenomenal. But I also want to walk through a little bit of that. Can you give us an experiment of what that would look like? What the sequence will look like, or can you walk us through that tapping experience?
Sure. First of all, when Roger's first discovery was getting what he called psychological reversal, or removing the block to healing. And over the last 2 decades, we've developed, so there's a set of 6, okay? In the video, it'll tell you all about them. But often you can just do the first one, okay, which is tapping this small intestine meridian here. It's releasing the block to getting over whatever you want to get over. So say we have a trauma, I'm just trying to think of something that would be current. Well, let's just use your example, okay? Seeing that murder, okay? Now, for something like that, that's significant. When you think about it right now, would you want to be an example?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so when you think about it right now, what does it bring up, if anything, in feeling or emotion?
It's this like this flight thing. It's a fear that makes me just want to run.
Okay. So we're going to release all the blocks to letting go of that feeling. Okay, healing it, allowing the feeling to release. Okay, tap here. Now under your nose. This is second level. Chin. We're doing 10 to 15 taps at each location, everybody. Now your middle finger. You stay with that image, releasing the blocks to letting it go, letting that image go. Outside of eye. And collarbone. Okay, now that was the 6 releases to blocks, okay? Tune back into the time you actually were there witnessing it and tap the beginning of the eyebrow. One side's fine, good. Just focus on the image. And then under your eye, under your arm, collarbone. Okay, tiny finger. Now, if there's anger or resentment or fear or something toward that person, you accept and forgive them. They were doing the best they had in their skills, okay? Now, tap your index finger. And if there was something you feel guilty about in that, like not going to get somebody or not doing something, forgive yourself. Okay, now tap your collarbone. Okay, now right now, what are you feeling?
I feel more present with the moment. So if I were to just quickly walk through this, in the very beginning, you guys, when she had me bring up the image, I wanted to throw up. It was like, whoa, just facing that. That's how much fear and tension I had in my body. And that nausea has gone down. The nausea is gone. And I feel there. I don't feel afraid. I don't feel the fear anymore. I kind of feel numb, if that makes sense.
You can be a detached observer, a witness. Okay. Okay. Now, we would normally then do the 9 gamma and repeat the sequence. If you'd like me to do that, we can do that. Finish it for you. If you have the time. If not, you know how to do it later.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to do the 9 gamut. Okay. All right. I want you to focus on where you're feeling it in your body now. Okay. And you're going to focus on just allowing that feeling to dissipate. Tap the gamut spot on the top back of your hand. Gamut spot, Derica.
Oh.
Top back. Right there. Okay.
Got
Tap
it.
there. Okay. And you're focusing on letting the feeling in the body dissipate. Close your eyes. You have them closed. Now open them. And look, keep tapping and look down left. Then down right. Now we're going to go around in a circle with the eyes. So look up the one left wall across the ceiling and down there. Perfect. Okay, now go the other way. Okay, we're going to activate the right brain, so hum a few notes. Good. Count to 5 for left brain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then hum again. Good. Now we're going to stay with that feeling in the body, allowing all the energy. You can stop tapping now. We're going to allow all the energy from that event that's still in your body to release and dissipate. Tap the beginning of your eyebrow. Then under your eye. Under your arm. Collarbone. Okay, now tap your tiny finger. Then your index finger. And then the collarbone again. Okay, we're going to end it with what we call the floor to ceiling eye roll. You're going to tap here on the hand again. And as you tap, you're going to point your eyes to the floor and slowly and steadily raise them, releasing all further energy around that event, up and out the crown. Then switch hands and do the same thing with the other hand. Okay, good. Now what are you feeling?
Okay, this is gonna sound so weird. the first, the so I felt calm, like calmness kept coming to mind, and I felt my old self saying, "No, you shouldn't be calm about this." And then I would tap that just flybyer out, and I felt calm again. And then on the first eye roll up, I felt even weirder. I felt joy in my belly. Like I felt happiness come back, and what that take it as acceptance, forgiveness. It's okay. It's not my fault. It's what it was. It just is. And you know, that kind of just freeing feeling from my chest down to my belly.
See, we
Wow.
all have these kinds of things that we've never even addressed. And that's what leads to chronic disease.
And even we think, like I have thought, I've been in the healing business 13 years, and I've I've done work on that, and but to just, okay, so you guys, sometimes we talk things out of our systems, or we say that we're over it or whatever it is, but that could be a sign of just avoiding it, or not wanting, not wanting to face it, for whatever reason, or not wanting to give it attention. But it can lie lurking, like that was for me at some point, still triggering us and harming us. So just take note of that. There's something there. You guys, replay this and go through that. Please go through that experience just as I did. Wow, thank you so much, Joanne. I want to cry tears of joy right now. I'm shaky, feeling good. Okay,
Okay.
you guys, let's move on. That was the power of the work, of the energy work and the process right there. That's the magic, you guys. Okay, now Joanne, if the person watching right now, they're in awe, they see this, but they're in disbelief, subconsciously or not, they want to be happy so bad. Like they just want to feel good mostly every day, but they're sabotaged by things that are coming up in their mind. What would you tell them right now?
Uh, the in the video that they're going to get the 6 PRs, or releasing the blocks. And one of the things that they can do in there is use that just as a standalone, releasing all the blocks to whatever the positive emotion is that they want. Okay, so it's kind of like a two-step process. You release the blocks to feeling, maybe it's peaceful and calm throughout the day. I worked with a mother that just said she was in overwhelm, and she wanted to be peaceful and calm no matter what her children were doing around her. And this is very common right now because we have children at home. Everybody has children at home. Their lives are different, and they become overwhelmed and upset and all. So if you release the blocks, remember we started 6 PRs for remaining peaceful and calm no matter what else is going on around you. Okay. So that's the step toward reaching your desired state. Then whatever they're feeling, their emotions, fear, trauma, address it same way we did. In other words, my next webinar, the monthly one, is on procrastination and frustration. And those are big things with people. And so those have some negative emotions in there: anger, judgment, fear. Okay, so those are simple things that they can do. Now, that simple trauma algorithm that I gave you, that's going to be in that video, addresses trauma, fear, stress, phobia within, it's embedded within it, and then anger and guilt. So that one sequence is a pretty much go-to for many things. And if you use it in the beginning of the day, you can use it thinking about what you have to do that day. So there's performance anxiety, there's worry, there's frustration, whatever. Tap for that. Just tune into what you have to do for the day. It'll balance you, help you remain balanced as you go, and strong as you go into your day. Then at the end of the day, repeat it on what happened that day. The days never happen what we think they're going to happen. So you do it again on what actually happened, releasing whatever guilt anger, frustration on what didn't go right or what at the end of the day before you go to bed.
Wow. That's beautiful. Okay, you guys. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into exactly what she's giving away, and there is a link below for that. But the tip for you that are there, you're there right now, you want this, or you wouldn't be here. You would not be here right now if you didn't want a higher quality of life, if you didn't want to feel your happiness authentically, consistently. So you're here, you say you just did that trauma technique with me right now, you were just experiencing that with me, and say that's the beginning of your day. Then Joanne is saying, now go through your day, and then at the end, do it again. Do it again for what came up. Just reflecting over your day. And just see, you guys, we're not selling any kind of magic pill or wanting you to do anything else. This is your goal. Just see, how did it make you feel? Reflect a little bit on your next day, hours from now. Just see, that will build a confidence and a momentum in your better life. Just start here. Oh, that is so good. Okay, that might be the happy hack, but Joanne, are you thinking of anything else? Is there something that you, the master woman, TFT queen, is there something that you do when if you ever have a down moment, a moment of feeling just, melancholy or down or trigger or whatever, is there a quick thing that you go to that is a happy hack for you?
Well, at my level of TFT, which is we call this level now advanced vibrational tuning. I just become aware of the vibration, okay? And because I can do what we call resonance testing or self-testing, with that, I immediately will tap, but I will identify exactly what I need to tap. So in other words, if I'm all of a sudden just feeling, a little bit uneasy about something, I don't even stop and analyze it. I don't even think about why. I just test and tap and release it just like that. And so I can remain balanced within my day. Like, here's a perfect example, okay? Yes, day before yesterday, we went out to the pool in the morning because I swim laps. We came back, well, it had been windy and the door slammed shut and the post in it fell down in a hole. We had no keys, no phones, no nothing. And I had my first client in half an hour. And there we sat there. And my new husband is very skilled and he actually got it open. But I didn't sit there and get all upset and thinking, I just tapped. Actually, whenever you start getting upset, this is one of the first places to tap because you're starting to get reversed or blocked, negative thinking, okay?
Yeah.
And I just tapped here and then I went here and that was it.
Yeah.
Just the fear, worry part of it. And just sat there and actually I got in the house with 9 minutes to spare to get out of my bathing suit, in my clothes for my client.
It's so beautiful.
Everybody has those kinds of moments in life. And you know what? The other thing that tapping for it then does for you is you don't repeat it in your mind all day long and tell the whole world, what happened to me, and relive it 10 times. That's the human beings in us. You can, oh God, do you know what we did? I couldn't believe it. I almost didn't make it. I never thought of it again. I didn't give it any more thought that day.
Wow. Oh, you guys, this is a next level happy hack. Think about not just hacking away whatever that fear, anxiety, just troubling stuff that came up, being able to hack it out, but then truly, completely not sit there and tell, our friends about it, come home and tell our husband about it, no, I got it out. The beautiful part about this hack too is that you now, since you're able to release whatever little anxieties came up, from this thing that naturally is going to happen to us all, comes up, you hacked it away, but then you remained calm. So now we're able to think creatively, we're able to, come up with better solutions and just figure it out and make it all go better because we're in that calm state, just like that.
Yeah.
So, here, I'm doing that one, even though I'm not advanced.
Yeah, No, that's a simple one for a lot of things. It's one of the most, it's the fear, anxiety, stress one. And when something goes wrong, that's often the first thing that comes up in our minds. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one that's very common, this is anger, anger and frustration. So you're driving down the freeway, somebody cuts you off on the road
Yeah.
instead of, and you're 10 minutes late because some idiot did this or that. Don't reprocess it over and over all day and tell everybody it works. You just tap it out, release it.
Yeah.
And then I saw an interesting thing on an EMF medical conference in January. And one of the practitioners actually was teaching treatment protocols for EMFs. And she, at the end, she said, in one of the things that she said you have to do, she used tapping and EMDR, TFT actually. She said thought field therapy and EMDR, and you need to use it daily because you have to balance that limbic system, that autonomic nervous system on a daily basis in today's world. Between the EMFs and the changes that are happening, that daily balancing is vital.
Wow. That's a little nugget of gold that slipped in here, you guys. EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, things that we are being bombarded with from towers all over the place, our phones, these computers, televisions. We're constantly being blasted with this, I like to say, like dirty energies or frequencies we don't want. So to know that if you are just hearing of this for the first time, just begin your research, somewhere, but just know that TFT, thought field therapy, helps with that too. That is amazing. Joanne, thank you again. Before you go, just give us just a title and a little bit about what they're getting below in this link here below.
It was a free training program that I did. It's a 90-minute video, and it teaches them how to apply and use the 6 PRs and the trauma sequence, and another very important tool of TFT, the collarbone breathing. That aligns our neurological system to, for example, our goals. Say you may be wanting to lose weight and you're struggling. If your collarbone breathing is out of alignment, when you imagine yourself 20 pounds lighter, and it's out of alignment, you're struggling to reach that goal. So it can align, like to be happy.
Yeah.
Okay? Think of a time when you were a child or in your life where you were really happy. Put that image in your mind and then do the collarbone breathing. You're aligning yourself to that state of being. And that's in that video as well.
Oh, that is so juicy good. You guys, everyone watching, get it. Download it, use it and read it as you can. This will be, it's access, lifetime access for you guys to have this 90 minutes and all these beautiful tools that are truly going to increase your quality of life, your happiness, your health, your well-being, your abundance, and all the good things. So take advantage of that because you're worthy of it. You deserve it. Thank you so much, Joanne, for your time. This is always so beautiful. Loved all your wisdom. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching, being with us here for almost this hour. I hope this was just as life-changing for you as it was for me. That was amazing. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you very much for having me and for sharing these tools with everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next one.